was very interesting to record because I ended up getting a couple things mixed up when I began recording. So I don't know why I thought that the not Chicago, but the college Storytime was the winner of the last poll, but it wasn't. It was actually the worst teacher. So what I am going to do is I'm going to eat the theme of the college story, but tell the worst teacher's story, if that makes sense. So here I have all of the college snacks that I would probably eat during college, just, after a long weekend of studying and I actually have some free time to myself. I would usually get some snacks, watch a let's play. So, to be fair, it was kind of like a movie because let's plays can go on for, 1, 2, 3 hours, depending on the content creator. Just them playing through a story-driven game and having commentary. It's nice. So I got all this from a local 7-Eleven, and I got a double extra large big gulps Slurpee. Once again, I didn't drink all this because I'm 25, gonna be 26, and my body can't handle that. So I give it to my cousins who are over. We just split it up and they drink it. So yeah. So actually, before I get into this, these chips right here, I didn't have at college. I actually would have got maybe like some sour cream and cheddar and sour cream Ruffles, or the flamin' hot Ruffles, or maybe even like a large bag of the Snyder bits, the Snyder pretzel bites, the buffalo ones specifically. Those were amazing. But I found these, and this is actually a Chicago staple. Chicago fire fries. Andy Caps, actually. They have they have hot fries. They have, other variations, onion rings, but these are ones that I found at my 7-Eleven. So I'm gonna open these real quick. Got everything set up. I basically had to rip the whole bag open, and I put the sour gummies on top to keep it down. But these are it. Focus, please. It's focusing my hand, but not. I hate this camera. Okay. Have you ever had the hot flamin' Chester fries by Cheetos? Wow, it really doesn't want to focus. That's crazy. So, the worst teacher I ever had was my junior year of high school. I'm probably going to put a timestamp because I'm like 4 minutes in. This is crazy. So, junior year of high school, I was in AP classes now. So at my school, freshman and sophomore could only take honors classes. And then seniors could take AP classes. I'm pretty sure that's like that for every school, but just, for refresher. And specifically at my school, we had summer homework, which is probably customary with all AP classes, but if you didn't, you're lucky. So these are more crispy, but they're like glass. I can't explain it. Why am I trying to? It's not gonna focus for some reason. I don't know. Mrs. Blue because her last name was pretty close to Blue. So throughout the summer, I studied heavily. Also, she was my AP English teacher. I studied heavily. I did all the assignments, all of the work. It took me about maybe a month and a half, 2 months. And the first day of school comes. I have this giant binder of stuff. All my assignments, right? She comes in, she greets the class, and the first class period, she doesn't collect the homework, so I'm like, oh, okay. Maybe tomorrow. Next day, nothing. Next day, nothing. Next day, nothing. So I don't want to be that student that's like, hey, you got his homework, and then the whole class hates me, so I didn't mention it. Sorry. I'm just gonna bring this down a little bit so more of the chips can be shown. These are really good though. I like them. And also they're not hot. So they taste kind of hot sauce based. But anyways, we get like 2 months into the semester, the quarter or whatever it is in high school. And she's like, oh yeah, my bad guys. Let me check that. I'm like, what? I pull everything out. I tell her, hey, I need to go to my locker, get everything. She gives me a A, I think. But what makes me upset is there's a guy in my class who he BS's so much. He pulled out a sheet of paper. Well, not immediately. I assume he had it at the beginning of the year, but he wrote down one sentence, completing technically every single assignment we had. And we found out later she was just checking for completion. So he got a 100 off of one sheet of paper while I wrote 4 essays, had a stack of note cards. It was insane. And you're probably wondering, how did she go that far in the semester? Quarter, whatever it is in high school. How did she go that far without knowing? And that's because she was never there. We saw her 5 times between August and December. We counted. When I mean worst teacher, I don't mean like, oh, we hate her. I mean like, from a teaching perspective, she was objectively the worst teacher I ever had. Because this was a AP teacher who was not teaching us in AP English. It's very prominent because if you pass the test with a good grade, you can get college credits where you don't have to take certain classes. But she just said, whatever. Like, imagine if your AP teacher gave up before you even had a chance. But you would think that there would be like a assigned substitute to teach us the material. No. Our substitutes were just regular substitutes. They didn't know what we were doing. They didn't know what our assignment was. We didn't even know what our assignment was because we didn't get anything from her when she would leave those times. So a substitute would do what a substitute would do. Put on a movie, give us a worksheet, and that was our entire time in an AP class. bit of a rough setup because I did not get a paper towel. Also, more Coke slushy. More like Coke water, but it's still fine. Chocolate covered pretzels. Okay, that's better. Kinda, maybe. I don't know. So, and here's another thing about my teacher. I think I already said it before, but we didn't get the same substitute, or maybe I implied that. But because we had a different substitute every single day, my friends were just like, "Can we come to your class?" And we were just like, "Yeah, why not?" Like, it's not like the substitute's gonna know who's who, so. What we did was, all the substitute had was a name and a list. So, if, let's say, Josh, just an arbitrary Josh, right? If Josh was out, my friend would come in and say he was Josh. And that's how it would work. Of course, if there's a full class, then no, it's not a good day to come, but if someone was out, I'd be like, "Yo, come to English." And that was my entire time there. I do have some funny stories, so I'm going to tell you guys that too. Really, really good. Okay, one sec. They're just the original. They don't have flavors. Well, they probably do, but my guess is blue raspberry and cherry for this one. Good. So there was one time our class would convince our substitute to play something that was not one of the movies. So, just to show how irresponsible my English teacher was, she left her Netflix account on her laptop without a password. So, if you typed in Netflix into the school, type in Netflix in the browser on your computer, it will pull up her personal Netflix. So, it would convince the teacher to put on, well, not me, but the class would convince her to put on like reality TV shows. We convinced her to put on a horror movie. And the way we tricked her into doing that was so petty. We told her no before Mrs. Blue left. She wanted us to examine elements of horror in novels so that we can make, connections to it in other themes and works. The Conjuring in class. Or was it The Conjuring? I can't remember. Maybe it was Sinister. I'm not sure. But the funny thing is that when the time for us to, do the AP club, the AP test, she wanted to like lock us in and like say, hey guys, we have 2 weeks left, let's try. It's just like, no. I think it was in May, and we as a class were just like, you had 9 months to help us. You shut up 9 times throughout all of those 9 months. There are also a few times where we would get the craziest like scenarios. So there was one time we didn't have a substitute, but Mrs. Blue was in our class, and we were like, yo, where is she? And she was in the building, but she wasn't in our class because she was working on something else. This happened a couple times. And years later, it finally came to light what she was doing. Because after graduation, me and my friends, we lived in a small town, so, when we moved out to the suburbs for a bit, we were hanging out, and we went inside the school just for fun, whatever, just, we were bored, and we knew our friend who worked at the school was there. So we're walking down the hallway, and we see, like, the plaques of, like, the principals and vice principals and teachers, and she was working on getting a promotion, and it paid off for her. Because when we look on the plaque, she went from being our English 3 teacher to being a vice principal. So during those times, she was just working to jump up in position to get a pay raise. But fate would have it that it would be the year that she actually wanted to focus on getting her pay raise that I had to take AP English, and of course we all failed it. It's kind of embarrassing, but out of all of the years at my school, our particular class that had her under AP English scored the lowest ever. Because we weren't learning. And let's be real. If your teacher wasn't there for 9 months minus like 9 days, I'm pretty sure a 16-year-old wouldn't be motivated to finish out that course, to actually pass the test.